talked about in the new environment and what that looks like. So how do we get there? How do we modernize in place? Uh, so I have a little sample application here that I kind of want to walk through. Hope this is clear. But essentially, this is a very common environment here. You have these 5 different apps represented by the colors. They're deployed in 2 VMs on a bare metal server. So think of this as maybe these 2 applications are coupled in this VM, and these 3 apps are coupled in this VM, and they're all running on one server here, one bare metal server, and this is where a lot of people start and a lot of applications start. So the first step here is we're going to go out and we're going to build a new environment here. So we now have a Kubernetes environment that spans multiple bare metal instances, and this could be X. I just wanted to fit it here for visual and also try to compare here. And I didn't really go into some of the the redundancy and whatnot, and I think one of the examples I have here shows that. So essentially, the first one we'll say it was an easy one, right? It was a very simple one. Maybe we used Anthos migrate for this. We just basically picked the app up and migrated it to the new application. So we're now running that as an instance inside of a container inside Kubernetes that's connecting to the old database. The second one's a little bit more complicated. You can see that this actually leverages, let's say, 2 databases instead of 1. So it's a little harder to break apart. So, the first thing we'll do is we'll split out app 1 from it, and we'll run the existing application here. But we still need to make sure the old application works. So we're going to have the old application point back to the new application so that it's still seamless for the people that are still interacting with this application. This is referred to usually as a strangler pattern. We're slowly peeling off features inside of this application, standing up new integrations or new applications on the new instances, and then pointing those applications through some sort of API to the new one. And then once we get there, we can then migrate the second application over, split it out, and now we have more of a microservice architecture, and then we can kill that old app. So now we've removed the VM, and we're able to migrate. The third application is, we'll move. We can also see some sort of concurrency and some, application stacking, running multiple containers in that Kubernetes instance. That maybe this is an application that uses more application space, maybe not. And our fourth application here, this green one, maybe we've identified that there's a good SaaS solution for this. Maybe this was a ticketing application, and Jira is a good place for it, or who knows? I mean, there could be all kinds of applications out there that exist. So maybe we just decom this one and run it as a SaaS provider. The last one here is a little bit harder, right? So this is a mainframe application that is connected directly with here. It's going to be a little harder to run that. So we need a way to essentially interact with that. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create that facade that we talked about. Where now maybe since we have this VM here that was just sitting there, maybe we run a queuing technology like Kafka or some other system on top of it, so that we can start to send asynchronous messages from the system. And then we have that application, that old application, start to queue those messages to the facade that talks to the mainframe, and then we start to migrate it over. So now that we have this full path where the new application talks to the queue, which then talks to the facade, and now we're handling some of that legacy debt, and we're off of our old bare metal systems. We could then shift this queue to the cloud if we wanted to, or if we're really feeling bold and that mainframe is sucking up a lot of energy, we can talk about some of that mainframe migration.